Hey guys, welcome back to Adventure Camping. Tactical Nut here, and today we're here to talk about the CobraTec Diablo. So stay tuned. Okay guys, just so you know, I bought this about a year ago, actually a little over a year ago. My wife and I went down to Florida for our 20th wedding anniversary, and while we were there walking around town, of course I came across a Army Navy store, and they sold knives. And for me, to kind of help the local economy, which is truly why I bought myself a new knife, it wasn't because I've just been obsessed with knives and always like them. But here's the box that it comes in, if you can see that little description on the back, so you can read that. But when you open the box, what do you get? Oops. Get a couple of business cards. Now this company is located in Texas. The guy told me that the knives are made in the United States and warranted in Texas. The company is located in Texas. It doesn't say on the knife itself where it is made or on the website, so I don't know if they truly make them here or have them made somewhere else, like they design them, have them made somewhere else or whatever, but there's no country of origin on the blade itself. But what you do get, this is the warranty card, so it does have a lifetime warranty. On this one, talks about the build quality and that they only make the knives to order. This one is signed K6, so I'm assuming that's the person that made it. Now, so if it says made to order, right, I'm just assuming, like, if you're a store and you say, okay, I want 10 of these knives, they're gonna make 10 and then ship them, and that's why they'll have them on hand. That's all I can guess, right? Since I didn't order this knife and have it shipped to me, I ordered it from a store or purchased it at a store. That's all I really have to say. But for now, let's go through the specs of the knife like I usually start off doing. You have a 3.5 inch blade that is stonewashed D2 steel, 4 1/4 inch handle, weighing 4 ounces. As you can see, it is a push button automatic knife, which also has a safety here, so you cannot launch accidentally, right? Now, a lot of times I will activate that switch when I put it in my pocket, just because sometimes with these type of knives that have this type of opening, you could bump up against something and it activate the knife in your pocket, and that's not going to be a very pleasant feeling. You do have G10 handle scales, as you can see here. Nice pocket clip that is pretty close to deep carry. You're only going to have a very minimal amount of knife sticking out of your pocket. You do have a lanyard hole, open construction, and hopefully you can tell these are skeletonized liners. And like I said, it only weighs 4 ounces, so a really good knife or a really good weight for a knife of this size and thickness, right? So I will say this though, like, ever since I have gotten this knife, one of the funnest things to do with it is that. Like, I love automatic knives. They are just fun to play around with, fun to use, easy to use because obviously it's a one-handed opening. Almost every knife I have is one-handed opening. There's very few that require two, because I like the ability to just be able to pull the knife out of my pocket, open it however that knife opens, and then go to work. But in the course of that, you know, like I said, doing it one-handed. The pivot has never loosened up, and this is what the pivot looks like. You could just use a flathead screwdriver to adjust it if you needed to, but I have had no issues with it. D2 steel, I really like. It is a good tool steel that is tough, holds a decent edge. It doesn't say what the Rockwell hardness was online, but it holds a decent edge and it's easy to resharpen, which for most people and most uses, this is going to be the most steel that you would need for most people. For people that are really into knives and use their knives a lot, going with a harder steel or an upgraded steel can be important, but just understand that in case you don't know a whole lot about knives, the harder the steel, also the harder it is to resharpen, but the longer the edge retention. You do have a little bit of jimping right here. Hopefully you can tell. Sorry, the light isn't great. It works a little. I mean, it's pretty fine, but it's enough to do what it's supposed to do. But I'll tell you, picking this up while we were out was just a nice treat for myself, but also I have just really enjoyed using this knife. They run about $50 if you get it from their website. Completely worth it. I think for this price point, this steel build materials skeletonized liner, which means they had to put a little extra work in, I think it's great. I think the pivot is great just because it's going to only require a flathead screwdriver, and pretty much everybody has those. Also included, or going along with that, is that, you know, there's so many knives that I won't say a special tool, but most of them are like a Torx or a hex bit or something like that. Most people don't have that on them, but there's a lot of multi-tools, keychain tools, little mini pry bars that people carry all the time. You could use a coin if you needed to, right? Because that's the advantage of having a flathead pivot like this. Pocket clip, like I said, holds well. It's never come out of my pocket by accident. And overall, it's just a really fun knife to play around with. Now, it does require two hands to close. Typically, you're going to push the button to deactivate the lock, and then it'll stay locked. But if you're only one-handed, you're just going to have to do what I do. Is if your other hand isn't free, I just usually put the spine of it on the back of, or on my leg, and shut it that way. I mean, it's a very simple way to go. To show you what it looks like in pocket, how much is going to be sticking out. So as you can see, there's not much there. Like I said, you know, you got about a 1/4 inch. Well, that goes down a little bit further. So look at that. Pretty nice and discreet. Although when people see a pocket clip, they're typically going to assume you're carrying a knife anyway. I just like to have as much of it in the pocket and not sticking out. Just a personal preference, and that's a personal preference for anyone carrying any type of knife. All right, guys, if you like this kind of content, please hit the like button. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think of the knife. Good, bad, or indifferent. Just let me know. I will leave a link to the store. If I can find an Amazon link, I will do that as well. I haven't looked on Amazon to see if they're sold there. But yeah, guys, I think you'd like this knife. Please subscribe. If you want to stay tuned for more knife reviews, I've got multiple knives that I've had for a while that still need to be reviewed. I've got multiple flashlights coming up that I've had for anywhere up to 3 years. Like multiple lights that I've purchased over time and just never got around to reviewing them. So if you want to see more reviews like that, just stick around. And in the meantime, guys, be prepared, have fun, check out CobraTec knives.